Hey y'all, hey, what's up out there to all of my fellow gold diggers? This is your girl Rita, also known as the self proclaimed gold digger. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. I am so glad to have you. But if you are a fellow gold digger, then welcome back. Y'all know I love and I appreciate each and every one of you. And tonight, we are still on our journey of leveling up. But you cannot level up if you are exhibiting broke habits. And we are definitely going to get into it tonight. But as always, let me do my social media checks real quick. Make sure I am good on all ends. And then I have about 10 tips that I am going to be sharing with you on today. So let's see. Let me make sure I'm good. Okay, I think I am good there. And let me check one other spot. And then we'll start. So also, if you are new to Tipsy Tuesday, basically I come on live every Tuesday evening at 10 p.m. and I share some tips with you as we take some sips. Tonight, I'm just drinking on water. Your girl is dehydrated. I'm trying to get better about my water intake and everything. But all right, so since we're good on with the social media accounts, let's go ahead and get into it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and say this. Sometimes a lot of us, we are not broke because we're not making enough. We are broke because of our habits. That's right. You're not broke because you don't have enough money. You're broke because of the habits that you're using when you have the money. Like you are not managing your money like you're supposed to. All right. So if I stepped on your toes, don't log off now. Stay tuned, buckle up, hold on tight, because we're going to get into this stuff because this is still level up season and you still have an opportunity to level up in spite of any broke habits you might have exhibited in the past. Because going forward from this day forward, we are not using any broke habits. We are not entertaining those things. We are leveling up and walking into our best and blessed season possible. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right. So the first thing I want to share with you is being broke is not just about the balance that's in your bank account. It is about your behavior. All right. So being broke, just because you don't have a lot of money, that doesn't necessarily mean you're broke, but you can be broke if you are exhibiting broke habits or broke behavior. Let's talk about it. Okay. So you might have broke behavior if you are exhibiting financial avoidance. What do I mean by financial avoidance? Because financial avoidance is a form of self-neglect. Now, this means you scared to open up that banking app of yours. You're scared to check your bank account because you've already been overspending. So you are avoiding the situation, financial avoidance, because you don't want to see the damage that you've done. That is broke behavior. If you was big and bad enough to spend the money, be big and bad enough to see the damage that you've done so that you can be able to manage it or rectify it. But hopefully we don't want to make these poor choices that damage our money. All right. So instead of you taking responsibility for the financial mistakes you made, you are choosing ignorance instead of choosing growth and instead of choosing knowledge in order to better maintain your finances. All right. Also, if you're an entrepreneur, side hustler, business owner, y'all know, shout out to y'all. I give y'all much praise. I know it's a rough journey, but if you are not checking your numbers like you're supposed to, that limits your growth in business. That limits you from being able to scale because you don't know exactly what you're bringing in. You don't know exactly what's going out if you're scared to check your numbers as a business owner. And I know a lot of y'all tuning in because I advocate so much for side hustles. Some of you do have your side hustles, but if you are neglecting that area in your business and you're just getting excited about the different money coming in, but not managing it, then that is a recipe for disaster when it comes to you in your business. All right. So some other broke behavior that you might be exhibiting is impulse spending, because when you are impulse spending, that will keep you in survival mode because you're always spending more than what you are making or what you need to be spending, or what your bills require of you to pay them and everything. So don't get caught up in impulse spending because it's not helpful for you. And impulse spending can happen too if you are an emotional spender. Now, I'm guilty of this too. So if you know you are guilty of emotional spending, here's what I do to kind of head it off. I have an actual fund for myself. I don't have it called like emotional spending, but it's just like my play money. So when I have a bad day or when I feel like just shopping, I need a little mood boost or something like that, I will use the money that I have from that particular account, or from when I was doing money envelopes, from that particular envelope to combat me spending. That way I don't touch my bill money. I don't touch money that I'm already using for saving or investing, but I already have money set aside because I know there's going to be days where I might be in a bad mood and I need to go and get something to eat, or I want to treat myself or go shopping. So instead of me spending money that I shouldn't be spending, I go ahead and allocate that and put it as a line item in my monthly spending. Okay, but be wary of impulse spending because it will keep you in survival mode. All right. Um, let's see. The second thing I want to share with you so that you can level up from your broke habits is when you know better, you need to start doing better. Oftentimes we know better, but we still not doing better, okay? And a lot of that sometimes, well, I won't say a lot of that, some of that can come from your mama, your not mama, your money trauma growing up. So if you grew up in a household where you were told that we don't have it. We ain't got McDonald's money. You might be spending, I won't say frivolously, but overspending because you were limited as a child in those particular areas. Okay. And even though you know you shouldn't be doing that, the trauma from your childhood is causing you to spend in that manner, because back then you went without. Now that you got your own, you want to show like, hey, I can afford this and I can buy this. But sometimes that will lead to overspending. Okay. So check your money trauma because it does run deep. Okay. And something else that we don't always talk about, but I try to mention it when we talk about money on this particular channel. Sometimes when we are successful, especially us as people of color, when we are successful and we start making more money, sometimes that makes us feel uncomfortable because we look at our friends, our family, the situations we come from, some of our communities where people are still struggling, and we're the one who made it. We're the one who's doing better. And now that success feels uncomfortable. And now sometimes we might feel like we're not deserving of it, or we end up doing too much to help our friends and our families who are still in those situations, or feeling guilty when we try to help those friends and family, because sometimes we're overspending or giving them way too much when we have our own bills to pay, when we have our own households to take care of. So that money trauma, it really can run deep. It can cause us to overspend because we have gone without in our childhood, and now that we got a little something, a little bit of money, we want to show off and spend and buy whatever we want. And it could have the opposite effect. When we do start making more money, when we do start becoming more successful, we start feeling uncomfortable. They call it, I think it's called like survival syndrome, something like that. That might be a little bit, I might be using the term out of context, but we feel uncomfortable because we made it, we got the money, but other people, our close friends, our close family, they don't have it. And because we want to help them, sometimes we will overspend on them, or always giving them money to help them out of this bind or this situation and that kind of thing, because we feel guilty that we made it. So check your money trauma, because sometimes even when you know better, you don't always do better. Okay. And something else, this is dealing with your mindset. And if y'all haven't checked out my 21-day money affirmation challenge, definitely do this, because that challenge really tackled your money mindset and making sure you have a good money mindset, so that when you do get money, you feel can know how to manage it and handle it in a good manner, because that is what this next tip is going to talk about. Sometimes we subconsciously sabotage ourselves to keep ourselves broke. What do I mean? If we're constantly telling ourselves money is hard, I can't afford this, I can't get that. If you're praying for overflow, but yet you're still afraid to take that chance, you're still afraid to literally open up your hands and give something. If you're clinging to everything and holding on to everything instead of being giving, instead of being generous, then subconsciously you could be sabotaging yourself and keeping yourself broke. Also, another common thing is money is evil. Money is not evil, okay? Money is just a tool. How you use that tool is up to you. Anything could be misused in the wrong way. Same thing with thought, there's a lot of things that have been labeled as evil or bad and stuff like that. But if it's not used in the correct way, then anything can be considered bad. Like, I'll use this as an example. This straw right here, this straw is helpful. It could be bad if I take it and I stab somebody in the eye with it. Anything can be misused as something bad, but when it's used in the right way, it can be good. So if you keep telling yourself money is evil, money is bad, then you're going to do things or unscrupulous things with the money, or do bad things with the money, or avoid money because you believe that money is bad or money is evil. It's a tool, and all tools have to be used in a certain way. A hammer can be used to build something, to make a house, to make a structure, or it can also be used to knock somebody upside the head, okay? Everything, there's two sides to every coin, all right? You just got to make sure you're using the tool in the right way. So make sure you're not subconsciously sabotaging yourself and keeping yourself broke by saying things and believing things in your mind that money is hard. I'll never have enough money. Money is evil, or rich people are evil. Stop telling yourselves that, okay? An example of Oprah, she grew up in poverty. And so she overcame a lot of trauma. She overcame a lot of things in her childhood. And look, she's a billionaire now. What if she believed some of those things that she probably grew up seeing, the poverty, the strife, the struggle? If she believed those things, would she be the billionaire that she is today? So be careful of the things that you're telling yourself. Be careful of the things that you're subconsciously planting in yourself when it comes to money. So you want to make sure that you are creating a growth mindset for money and not something that is a negative mindset. All right. The third thing I have is some broke habits that you need to change so that you can level up, is that you can't out earn your foolishness. All right. Let me say that one more time. You cannot out earn your foolishness. If you out here wilding, spending recklessly, you can't keep making more money to cover up your foolishness. Eventually it's going to catch up with you. Okay. You can't out earn stupidity. I mean, although, let me leave that alone. I ain't gonna say nothing about that. But you can't out earn your stupidity. You can't out earn your foolishness. Money just magnifies your habits. So if you have poor habits when you're poor, I won't say poor, I shouldn't use poor. If you have poor habits when you have a little bit of money, those same habits are going to be present when you have more money, but the money is just going to magnify it. Why? Because the money gives you access to be able to do those habits, those broke habits, those poor habits at a bigger level or at a higher level. Okay. So you can't out earn your foolishness. So don't think, if you're not managing the $100 you have now, that when you get $1,000, you're going to get better at managing it. No, you can't out earn your foolishness. If you don't have good money habits for $100, chances are, if you have not learned good money habits, by the time you get $1,000, you're going to waste that $1,000 just like you waste the $100. All right. So please be mindful of that. Also, if you're an entrepreneur, it's same thing when it comes to your business. If you are not managing your business like you're supposed to, when you have a few clients and you're not managing your finances like you're supposed to, when you get even more clients and more business, chances are you're not going to manage them appropriately unless you change your money habits. So that's what you have to do. You got to change your money habits. Another thing when it comes to you can't out earn your foolishness is beware of lifestyle creep. We've talked about this several times on our channel. Lifestyle creep will kill your momentum. So what is lifestyle creep? That is basically when you make more, you start spending more. Okay. So you increase your expenses based off of the money that you made. All before you were okay with, getting $1,000 a week or something like that. Now that you're getting $1,500 a week, you still living paycheck to paycheck. Like how sway? How sway? If before when you were making $1,000, you were living paycheck to paycheck. Now you're making $1,500 and you still living paycheck to paycheck. That is because of lifestyle creep. And if you have a business or a side hustle, oftentimes we'll start, once that money starts increasing, we'll start rewarding ourselves because, yeah, the hustle, it is a hustle, that grind, it is a lot. And we deserve it. But sometimes we do that a little too early. We start rewarding ourselves a little too early, and then we blow the money. We don't invest it wisely. We see this all the time with celebrities, such as people in the music industry, people in the sports industry. Once they start getting some money, next thing you know, they're broke. Or once they're out of that particular career, once their hits are no longer hitting, literally, or they're not able to play anymore, you see that some of them are broke, or they have to file bankruptcy, or they're having to do different things because they didn't manage their money well, and they spent and they rewarded themselves too much. But also, too, I will say this: sometimes I would suspect as well. Going back to what I was talking about some before, sometimes success is scary, and sometimes we are uncomfortable with the success, or we are trying to help so many people from our community, from our family who didn't make it. So we're trying to help everybody, and at the same time, when we're trying to help everybody and buy this person a home and buy this person a car, give this person money to go to school and stuff like that, then at the end of the day, we don't have any money for ourselves. We don't have any money to show for the effort that we put into it. And I think that's also what happens with some of these celebrities and sports players as well. Some of it is they're rewarding themselves a little bit too soon and too quickly, but also too, they might be trying to save and help everybody as well. All right. So I hope this is resonating with you guys. Let me see. I'm gonna take a sip, and I see I have a comment. Hi, Stephanie. Stephanie, I think you've been on before. Your name seems familiar. She says, "Love these tips. So true. Keep it real." Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. Also, all right. So we are only on tip number 3. But y'all, tonight it will not be a long, or it shouldn't be a long video. It shouldn't be an hour long video. I'm trying to get done probably in about 45 minutes and everything. So let's keep it moving. The next tip I have is, especially if you have a business, your business cannot bloom or cannot blossom if you have broke behavior. All right. I talked about this on Side Hustle Saturday, this past Side Hustle Saturday. If you have not seen that video, please go check it out. It was talking about how notaries undercharge, but it applies to anybody who has a business who is undercharging, which is also what this next point is about. Your business can't blossom if you're using broke behavior. If you're undercharging for the things that you are providing in your business or in your side hustle, that is a self-worth issue. Yeah, I know I'm coming in. I'm stepping on toes today. I'm so sorry. Move your feet. Move your feet. Undercharging is a self-worth issue. Okay. You're too scared to charge your self-worth. All right. You don't even realize what you are providing to other people. And that will lead to burnout, especially when you're undercharging for your services. And underpricing is not affordable. it's not an affordable strategy. It is actually costing you. It is actually hurting you. Okay. So sometimes that imposter syndrome will show up and you're like, oh, nobody's going to pay me for this, or they're not going to pay me this amount for this, or I do this all the time. It's no big deal. I'm only going to charge them this amount. That's a self-worth issue. Okay. You are not placing enough value on the services and the products that you're providing. You know that if they were to go in the store, they would pay 2 and 3 times as much as what you're charging them. And it wouldn't even be the same quality that you're giving them. But you're scared to put that price on there because you're not that big store, or, you're just getting started, or I can't make as many as what they find in a store, and that kind of thing. Whatever the reason is, whatever the excuse is that you're telling yourself, you undercharging is more of a self-worth issue than anything. Okay. Now, the other thing is your business can't blossom with broke behavior is if you don't have the proper systems in place, then it's harder for your business to scale. And scale just means to grow. Well, not just means to grow, but it's harder for your business to scale if you want to take it to the next level, as well as to grow, meaning you might acquire more clients and things of that nature. Okay. If everything in your business relies on your presence, you're not really running a business. It's just another job. Okay. So put some systems in place so that you're able to delegate some stuff. And that way your business can grow. All right. That is what these businesses that end up selling or that they take it to another level. Also franchises, they know they put together a blueprint. They put together a model that can be duplicated, that can be replicated. And that's how they have a store in this particular city. They have a store in another city. Then the stores go to a different state. They just create a model that is repeatable, that is scalable, so that essentially they make more money. So put systems in place so that you're able to scale. And you want to try and automate your systems as well so that you're not doing extra work when it comes to your business. All right, the fifth tip that I have to how to change some of your broke behavior, level up from your broke habits, is you need to be disciplined. When you're disciplined, that will pay you dividends. Because discipline, when you're disciplined, that helps you to do things in life when you really don't feel like doing it. It helps you to do the things that are required, even when you don't feel like it. Okay. Discipline is not based on your mood. All right. It's based on your responsibility, you being responsible and knowing I need to get this done for my business to succeed. I need to get this done in order for me to make more money, in order for me to manage my finances. Okay. So discipline shows up regardless. Motivation is good, but motivation is oftentimes based on your mood. So if you're in a good mood, you feel motivated, you feel pumped up, but discipline shows up even when you're tired. Discipline shows up even when you're happy about something or excited. Discipline shows up even when you've suffered a major loss or a setback. You have that discipline, you have that drive to know, hey, this is what I need to do. This is the direction I need to go in to help my business grow, to help my finances grow so that I can be successful. Okay. So make sure you have some discipline when it comes to your money, and so that you're not exercising broke habits. Okay. Um, the next thing that I have when it comes to discipline will pay you in dividends, is that if you're consistent with the things that you're doing, the good money things that you're doing, if you're consistent with the good money things you're doing, then consistency compounds your cash a lot faster. Okay. So when you do the same thing over and over and over time, you're going to perfect it. Over time, you're going to find out the nuances in it. Over time, you're going to find out the problems associated with it. You're going to find out the cracks and the things that you need to fill in, things that you need to modify, the things that you need to adjust when you keep doing it over and over and you're consistent with it. If you do it one way this time and another way another time, and then the The third time you got a brand new way. That's not consistent. When you do the same thing over and over and over again, it helps you to identify the areas that you're weak in. It also helps you to identify the areas that you are strong in so that you can keep building upon it. Okay. So when you do the same thing well over time, that is more profitable to when you just do things occasionally or do things when you just feel like it. Okay. So just keep that in mind. A good example of this, because we just read not too long ago, we read Kevin Hart's book. I can't make this up, but Kevin Hart is a good example of, he is very disciplined when it comes to his work ethic. He has a certain routine, morning routine that he follows. Even when it comes to writing his jokes, he is pretty disciplined when it comes to that. So create a routine, create something that works for you. Do it over and over so that you can perfect it. The other thing I found out, when you're disciplined and you exercise consistency, it helps you to better identify when things go wrong. It helps you to better identify when things are abnormal, because you already know what the normal pattern is. So you can easily point out, oh, hold up, this is out of the ordinary. This is not normal. But when you're not doing things consistently, when you're changing up how you do things each and every time, it's hard for you to identify what's normal. It's hard for you to identify when something might go awry or what's abnormal, because normal, if you're not consistent, you don't even know what normal looks like to know that something is abnormal. So being consistent, being disciplined will help you identify what's normal so that you can easily identify when something is out of place or out of the ordinary, and that could jeopardize your business as well as jeopardize your money. All right, the sixth thing I have is, when you exercise retail therapy, that is still a bill. So be careful when it comes to retail therapy. Emotional spending is real. We kind of talked about that before. Like I know there are going to be times where I'm going to want to spend because I had a bad day. I have money set aside just for that. Okay. So that I'm not tapping into my bill money. I have a special fund just for that. But if you don't have a special fund, if you have not already allocated money set aside for like retail therapy, then emotional spending can become very, very expensive for you. You might have a temporary high, but it will lead to long-term debt. All right. So please be mindful of that. If you know, just like I know, like there are going to be times I have a bad day. So let me go ahead and allocate in my budget, $100 that I can spend however I want for those instances when I do have a bad day. That way it tempers it in. Okay. Also, I'm a big advocate for self-care. And self-care has been getting celebrated because we don't always take care of ourselves, and it is definitely needed. But self-care without self-control will lead to sabotage. Okay. Let me say that again. Self-care without self-control will lead to sabotage when it comes to your finances if you're not mindful of how you're spending. If you just have that I deserve it mentality, that becomes an excuse for you to avoid budgeting. All right. And we don't want it to become an excuse. Yes, you do deserve self-care, but your self-care should be done with some self-control so that you don't blow your budget by doing all of this self-care. Okay. So be mindful of that. Also, the seventh thing I have when it comes to leveling up so that you don't have broke money habits is sometimes you have to tell yourself no. All right. Sometimes you have to tell yourself no. Yes, you might deserve it, but that doesn't necessarily mean you need to buy it the next day. You might need to wait a month and then get it. Okay. Delayed gratification is a wealth builder, or it can help you build wealth. Okay. So, like I said at the beginning of the video, some of us are not broke because we don't make enough. Some of us are broke because of our habits that we have. So when it comes to delayed gratification, some of us are not broke because we don't make enough. Some of us are broke because we can't wait long enough to get the thing that we see, or we want to try and keep up with the other person and not be, that FOMO and stuff like that. So you broke because you can't wait. So if you tell yourself, no, let me wait a little bit, that doesn't mean no forever. It doesn't mean that you're never going to be able to get it. It just means no, not right now. Okay. Let me wait another month, or let me wait a couple of weeks, and then I'll buy it. And sometimes if it's impulse buying, or if it's something that you're getting under impulse, you might wait that week and realize, you know what? I really don't want it. I really don't want this thing. Okay. So keep that in mind. Delayed gratification can be a wealth builder. It doesn't mean you'll never get it. It just means you're choosing not to get it right now. Okay. So don't go broke just because you couldn't wait to the appropriate time to spend your money on certain things. All right. Saying no also protects your future. Yes. All right. So if you wanted to go something or be able to do something, you might not be able to do it because you told yourself yes to something that really didn't benefit you. And now because of that, you're late on your bills or not able to do something else. All right. We have to set boundaries for ourselves, even when it comes to our money, even when it comes to our finances. All right. But boundaries, they are not punishment. They will provide you with protection when used appropriately. All right. So that was the seventh thing. And we only have a couple of more. Let me see how I'm doing on time. All right. I'm doing pretty good. Let me see if I have any more comments. All right. So no comments, but I'm going to take a sip. If you are watching the replay as well, let me know if this is resonating with you. And if it's resonating with you, put break up with broke in the comments with the hashtag and everything, so that I know that this is resonating with you guys. All right. So the eighth thing that I have to help you level up and keep from developing some broke habits is when you upgrade your habits, that means you upgrade your life. Okay. So when you do just small changes to these habits, to these money habits, it can lead to big outcomes for you. All right. So start by checking your accounts every morning, not, mulling over them forever, but just spend like 2 minutes seeing how your finances are looking. Is it on track? Are there any expenses that you weren't expecting? Is something coming out, something that might be on auto pay or whatever that you weren't expecting? Did you get some unexpected money? But start by checking your accounts. Stop being afraid. If you knew you spent a whole bunch of money this weekend and now you're scared to look and see what's in your bank account, or you're scared to look at your credit card statement or however you did and you spent the money, start checking it regularly. Build that habit. Like, I'm not going to be scared to look at the damage I've done, because one, we're not going to be damaging our money and our finances like we were before. So small habits can lead to big outcomes. And here's another thing I would challenge you to do. If you are a small business owner, side hustle, or entrepreneur, start making weekly CEO dates with yourself. Check in and see, how is my business doing? How are we looking when it comes to finances? All right. Make dates with yourself to examine your business, look at the financial landscape, see how you did for the week, see what you might need to do differently for the week, see how you might need to grow. Are the plans that you made for the month, are they being implemented like they're supposed to? Or do you need to make changes? Did something not go as well? You're a CEO of your business, especially as small business owners. So have a weekly meeting with yourself and see if you're pleased with the results that you made so far. Are you pleased with the money that you've been able to generate? If not, examine yourself, be self-aware, and see, what changes do I need to make? What happened? What caused me not to succeed? What caused me to fall short of my goal? How do I need to change stuff up for next week so that I can reach those goals that I've set for myself? Okay. Upgrade your habits. And when you do so, you will upgrade your life. And it doesn't have to be something big, just small stuff. Because a lot of stuff, it starts with awareness. And if we're not even aware of what's going on, if we're not even aware of our finances because we're too scared to look at them, or we say, even when it comes to business, I'm too busy to do that, to stop and have a weekly meeting with myself to check in. You're not even aware of what might be coming in the pipeline for you. You might not even be aware of something that is potentially going to be draining to your business, or you might not even be aware of a possible opportunity in the future. Okay, do the weekly check-ins. Like, it doesn't have to be something big, these small changes to your habits, but you want to start getting consistent. You want to start being disciplined, like we talked about. Like discipline shows up regardless of how you feel because it does the thing that is required. All right. And then something else you can do to kind of help level up your habits, especially when it comes to your money habits, is start automating automate your abundance. All right. I talked about this on my channel, how every time I get paid, I automatically have money invested into my savings account as well as into my investment account. I don't ever see that money come into my regular bank account. So I don't miss it because I automate it and it's taken right off the top. Because of that, I work with what is left, what is actually deposited into my main account, and I make that work. But I automate my abundance because I want to make sure I am saving on a consistent basis. I don't want to have to think about saving. I don't want to see that money in my regular account and then I'll be like, oh, I accidentally spent it this weekend because, some friends were in town and we went out and now I don't have that money to put in my savings account. No, I don't want to do that. I want it to go to my savings and to my investments right off the top. So I have it automated so that I don't even see it and it's easy. Okay. And then that automation, it reduces your temptation to spend as well. Because sometimes, something bad might happen and then like maybe I don't know, you need to do something to your car or something broke in your house and now you got to replace it or repair it or something like that. And because you see that extra money sitting there, you're tempted to spend it, even if it is for something necessary. But chances are, if you don't see that money and something came up or something arose that where you needed to get your car fixed or get something fixed at your house or some friends came into town, whatever it is, you'll find a way to get the money outside of that. Okay. You will find a way, or you'll find a way to make it work. But we don't want to be taken from our abundance to make it work. All right. So automate those things like your savings and your investments so that you're not tempted to spend. Now, the ninth thing I have is how you handle your money is a reflection of how you see yourself. So if it is chaotic when it comes to your finances, it might be mirroring your life. Is your life kind of chaotic? Is your self-worth kind of chaotic? Okay. So how you handle your finances, it can be a reflection of how you see yourself. If you feel like you're always stressed about money, are you always stressed in life in general or at your job or whatever you're doing? Just look at that. Because if your finances are disorganized, that is a reflection that you are avoiding something. You're avoiding something. It's emotional avoidance. And so what else are you avoiding in your life that you are not addressing? All right. So it can be a mirror. And sometimes we got to take a good hard look in the mirror and see, what do I like and what do I need to change? I'm not going to say what I don't like, but what do I like and what do I need to change so that what I reflect is exactly what I want. Okay. And when you get clear on that, your clarity will help breed confidence in yourself, especially when it comes to your money and when it comes to your finances. Okay. Because when you know your numbers, you're going to walk into rooms different. All right. You're going to feel better about the things that you spend on. You're going to feel better about the choices you make. And you won't feel bad when you tell somebody, no, I'm not able to go out with you this weekend, or no, I'm not going to get that. I'm going to wait another week. Okay. Because you have confidence in what you're doing. You have clarity in the financial picture that you have. Okay. So please, please, please keep that in mind. And the last and final tip I have, and let's see, yes, I'm doing good. All right. The last and final tip I have is for you to upgrade your finances. Remember, the real flex is having financial peace. Do you have financial peace? Do you have peace when it comes to your finances? Okay. Because when you set some boundaries when it comes to your finances, you're literally making some power moves. You're literally making some power shifts. Okay. You don't need to look successful because too many of us are out here trying to look successful. Too many of us are out here trying to fool and trick people and trying to make people think that we're doing better than what we really are. You don't need to look successful. You need to actually be successful. And what that might look like might be different than what other people are painting a picture of. And sometimes the picture that they're painting is a fake. Okay. It's a fake. So Don't just be trying to look successful to other people. Don't be trying to please other people and stuff like that. You want to actually be successful, okay? So say no to anything that is going to cost you your peace, especially when it comes to your money, especially when it comes to your energy as well. And you want to have wealth and abundance, all right? And when you have that wealth and you have that abundance and you have freedom with your finances, so that will give you some financial freedom, all right? So quiet wealth is good. Quiet money is always good money to me. All right. A lot of times the people who are loud and flashy, the money comes quick and it goes fast. All right. So I would like the quiet money because it usually stays around a long time. I don't have to be loud and flashy with it. Okay. So just remember that. All right. So those were the 10 tips I had for you guys. I don't know. So y'all can let me know. Have you ever said that you deserve something and then ended up overdrafting your account? Have you ever done that? If so, that is a broke habit that we are breaking up with. All right. Or have you ever avoided looking at your bank accounts because you already knew it wasn't going to be what you wanted it to look like? If you have done something like that, that is a broke habit. All right. Or if you have ever tried to keep up with the Joneses or experienced lifestyle creep just because you started making more, you started spending more, that is a broke habit. And we are breaking up with those broke habits. So I want y'all to pick one broke habit that I may have mentioned in today's video, or that you already know that you're doing and I may not have mentioned it. Pick one broke habit that you are breaking up with this week, that you are divorced and you giving its divorce papers. You like, no more. I cannot do this anymore. What are you breaking up with? Let me know in the comment section. Y'all know I always like to encourage you guys and keep you motivated and keep you inspired. And then once you let me know what the broke habit is that you are letting go of, that you are breaking up with this week, let me know what is that wealthy habit that you are picking up instead, so that you can achieve financial abundance, okay, and have financial success. All right, we got to shift the cycle, y'all. We got to break up with broke and walk into our abundance. All right, but that is all I have for now. This was Tipsy Tuesday. I am going to try and come on Saturday and do a side hustle Saturday. Not exactly sure of the time because I got a couple of things going on this Saturday, but yeah, I'm gonna try and get another live video out to you guys. But have a good evening, and until next time, take care, guys.